Hello students, today we will start chapter number 10, Motion and Measurement of Distances of Standard 6 Science NCE RT. In this chapter we will going to learn about motion, different types of motion. Then we will learn story of transport, how the transport has been came into existence. Then we will see measurement of the distances, how we can measure a particular object with a particular device. Okay, in ancient times what they were using for measurement and afterwards what they are used for measurements. We will see one by one. So first of all we will start with the motion. What is motion? A simple motion word is meaning movement. Moving from one place to another at fixed given time. Okay, so let us see motion. An object when change its position with respect to a fixed point in a given time interval, that is said to be motion. That means, for example, I am standing over here. I am just now at a fixed point. Now from this fixed point I am moving to some distance at a given time. That means I am doing motion. That means I am moving, so I am in motion. So from one place to another at a given fixed time, from given fixed point to another fixed point at a given time interval. It can be in seconds, it can be in minutes, or it can be in hours. Okay, for example, a butterfly takes a little bit second to move from one place to another. Okay, snail, it takes a minute to move from one place to another. It takes a time, but they all are doing motion. That means they are changing their place from one position to another with respect to a given fixed time interval. We will see different examples. Let us see, that is dog, a butterfly, human being, or we can say a vehicles. We are moving but they are in motion. When we start operating them, it will have a motion in them. So it will move from one place to another. It can be a car, a scooter, a cycle, a horse cart, an aeroplane, a train, okay, or even a spacecraft. They are in motion when we move them. So that objects can be said in motion. Now what is the meaning of rest? Rest means it is not moving at all unless and until we move them. For example, chair, for example, desk, tree, they are not moving. Until and unless we push them, then only it will do its motion, and we have to do just force them to push it, to move them. So that things are said to be rest, or we can say they are at a stationary position. Now how does this motion came into existence? So for example, we will see different vehicles. How the vehicles have started came into existence. So from this we will see the story of transport. Okay, so in next point we will see story of transport, how the transportation came into existence. Now let us see story of transport. Suppose if I ask you, how do you travel from one place to another? So there will be different reviews. Someone will say, I will go through a car, by a bus, I will go through a train or an aeroplane, or I can ride a bicycle if I want to cover a smaller distance. So there will be different points of views of different students. Now all these are vehicles. So where these vehicles came into existence? So here we will see the story of transport. So long ago, that means in earlier times when there are no vehicles, so what does people do to move from one place to another? So long ago people did not have any means of transport. They does not have any means of transport except the animals. So what does they do? They move from one place to another on their foot. By walking they used to move from one place to another, or by sitting on the animals. They used to take different animals like horse, camel and so on. So they move from one place to another either on foot or with the help of animals, or they used to carry their goods on their back or on the animals, and they used to move from one place to another because there was no means of transport in the earlier times. Now if they want to travel in water routes, they does not know, many of them does not know to swim also, or if they know to swim, so we know in water there are from one place to another in the water. Afterwards, with the help of the people, those who are moving from one place to another in the river or in the streams, they got imitated or they get influenced by the aquatic animals. Aquatic animals have streamlined body, so they start making the shape. They start giving the shape of a boat with the just looking at the fish, just looking at the aquatic bodies, and this way the proper boat came into existence. Okay, so this way long ago people used to move by foot or used to travel in boat in the waterways. Invention of the wheel made a great change in the modes of transport. So I told you that long ago people used to move from one place to another on their foot or by the use of animals. But after the invention of the wheel, after the invention of wheel, there was a great revolution in the modes of transport. So because of wheel, people started moving from one place to another. Now how they used to do? What does they do? They just carry the wheel along with the animals. On the animals, they used to just take back at the wheels were just fitted with the help of the animals, and with the help of animals, they used to move from one place to another. We have seen different types of animals which at their wheels have been placed. For example, horse cart, bullock cart. Till then, there were the different vehicles. They used to use with the help of the animals. So until the beginning of the 19th century, many of the people still depend on animal power, that we call as animal power. Wheels were invented, but with the help of animal power, they used to move that wheels. There was no any motorized thing over there. There was no machineries, so that the wheel can be put automatically. So after the invention of steam engine, before that wheels were already invented, but after the invention of steam engine which came into existence, it introduced a new source of power. So they used to introduce a steam engine which carries the loads, which carries the carriages, and it can move from one place to another. Later came the motorized boats. Later came the automobiles. Automobiles like cars, scooter. Okay, so automobiles, then motorized boats. The boats which were used with the help of the machines. So motorized boats came into existence. So in the 20th century, we can see different modes of vehicles like electric trains, supersonic aeroplanes, spacecraft that came into existence in the 20th century. From the long ago we were on foot, and in the beginning of the 20th century we had made different inventions in the modes of transport. Now let us see measurement. Now there are different occasions we come across by using measurements. If you want to purchase anything, if you want to go from one place to another, we need particular measurements. For example, if a tailor stitches the clothes, so there will be a perfect measurement of your body. Then only you will be able to stitch the clothes. If you want to go from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, so there will be a particular distance. So that is also a measurement. If you want to make a furniture of your home, so carpenter, he will take particular measurements. Without measurements, we cannot proper find out the different methods. So measurements is compulsory for a particular object. So now what is the meaning of measurement? Measurement means it is a comparison of an unknown quantity with some known quantity. So we have to compare an unknown quantity with an known quantity. One quantity is unknown and one quantity is known. So we have to compare that. That is called a measurement. Suppose if you want to buy anything, so if you want to purchase a vegetable, so there will be some quantity. So suppose you are purchasing a tomatoes. So of tomatoes you will not say that I want the tomatoes. So you want any number, a particular number should be. It should be 4, I want 3 kg, 4 kg, 6 kg, 8 kg and so on. So that fixed quantity, fixed number is called a unit. Now tomatoes. So 3 is a number and unit, that is kg. Okay, if you want to measure, if you are measuring a desk with the help of your hand span, this is called a hand span, from finger to the tip of the thumb. So you are measuring the desk. So suppose there are 4 hand spans. One, you will measure 1, 2 like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Suppose this is the length of your table. If you want to measure the table with the help of your hands. So what is 4 is the number, and what is the unit? What you are using? You are using a hand span. So in ancient times and in modern times, there were different modes of measurement. How they use different measurements in ancient times, we will see. So here, what is the meaning of measurement? It is a comparison of an unknown quantity with the known quantity. And measurement can be expressed by 2 units. That is, one is the number and one is the unit of measurement. Now, we have seen measurements. How the measurements were taken in ancient times. How they were using ancient times. So first of all, in ancient times, what does the people do? So they don't have a particular measuring tape or a scale or a ruler. So they use their different body parts to measure different objects. So length of a foot, width of a finger, distance of a step. That was used to measure the distance, to cover the distance. To take the distance, they were using different body parts like foot, width of a finger, distance of a step. In this way, that is, we can see a very good excavation, very good proper measurements we can see of length because of their evidence in their excavation of their perfectly geometrical construction. So whatever the buildings they have made, whatever the things they have made, we can see in their excavation. So in this valley, they use very good different body parts in their construction. Afterwards, what is cubit? Cubit was used in the ancient Egypt. Now what is cubit? It was the length from the elbow to the fingertip. If you want to measure anything, from the length from your elbow to the fingertip, which was used in the ancient Egypt, that is known as cubit. Now people also used foot. They used their foot as a unit in different parts of the world. Even this was where many of the countries were accepted this foot. Many of the regions accepted foot as a unit. But what was the difficulty in this? All the foot varies from different place to other place. Foot varies from one place to another. So foot was taken also as a unit, and many of the people has accepted this foot as a unit. Now yard of clock. If you want to measure a clock, it was in the form of yard. That means end of the outstretched arm of them and their chin. So from the chin and the arm. That is, if you want to measure a clock, so it was considered as a yard of clock. Roman people. What was the Roman people used to do? They used pace or a step. Pace means a single step. They used to measure distance with the help of the pace or the step. In ancient times, in ancient India, our India, what does the people use? They use angul. Mutti. Angul means ungi. Mutti means fist. To take, suppose they want to take the weight. So they use, they take the fist. Mutti leke, they just measure it. 1 mutti, 2 mutti, okay. So this is in ancient India. Even nowadays, India, many of the persons, many of the garden flowers, those are selling the flower sellers. If they want to make the garment, they are using the elbow. They are taking the thread, taking the measurement of the thread with the help of the arms, and they are measuring. So today in India also, many of the people are using their body parts. Now, what was the difficulty by using the body parts? So, but different body parts have different hands and different foot steps. So it was difficult. If you want to go from one place to another, and that measurement was not perfect. So therefore again there was a need of the perfect measurement. So perfect measurement is, so if you go from one place to another, that measurement should be fixed. Wherever you go, that measurement should be fixed, because body parts changes. Some has a hand, suppose hand is there, some hands are larger, some hands are smaller. So there we will not get a perfect measurement. So there was a need for a perfect measurement. metric system. Later on, for the sake of uniformity, that means it remains same at all over the world, scientists from all over the world, they accepted a new set of standard unit which was called as a standard unit, that was International System of Units, SI units for measurement, which was accepted all over the world. So scientists still, for the sake of uniformity from all over the world, that means it remains same, uniform at all over the place, they introduced a new set of measurement which was termed as International System of Units, that is SI units. Total there are 7 SI units. So the SI unit of length is meter. We are using a meter scale. Now in that meter scale there are 100 divisions. That division is said as centimeter. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. Now for 1 centimeter there are 10 divisions. So it is 10 millimeter. So 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. Now if we want to measure the larger distance, we will not use meter, but we will use a larger unit, that is 1 kilometer. So 1 kilometer will be equal to 1000 meter. Same way, for the unit of time we are taking as second. For unit of weight we are taking as kilogram, or we are taking gram. Now, if you want to use different measurements, there are different devices. For example, in our geometrical box we have ruler to measure the object. If you want to measure the cloth, there is a meter rod. The cloth merchant, they are using a meter scale to measure the cloth. A tailor, if you want to stitch the clothes, if you want to measure the cloth to stitch, to cut, so he will use a measuring tape to measure. And if a person wants to carpenter, a carpenter uses an elastic measuring tape to measure the furniture, to measure the wood. So different devices are there. We cannot use a measuring tape to measure a pencil. We cannot use a meter rod to measure our body parts. So particular devices are there to measure different objects. We will see how to measure a particular object. There are some proper methods. There are some methods in which way how to get a perfect reading. If the reading is different, we will not get a particular perfect reading. So there are different methods how we will see in the next topic. Now let us see how to take the correct measurement, how to take the reading of an particular object. Now the first point, place the scale in contact with the object. Suppose this is your object. So this object should be in the contact with the scale. It should be along the edge of that object. So this point and this point should be coincide. The edge of the object and the edge of the scale should coincide with each other. So the first point, we have to place the scale in the contact with that particular object. Now second thing, to start from 0 mark while taking the reading. Now whenever you are taking a reading of any object, you have to start with the 0 mark. Now suppose if 0 mark is not there, so you will ignore, or the 0 mark is broken. So you will ignore this 0 mark and you will start taking the reading from 1. Suppose the final reading is 3 and you have taken starting reading from 1. So 3 minus 1 will be 2. So the measurement of that object will be 2. So if there is no 0 mark, you have to start it from 1. So the third one, correct position of the eye. Now, what is the meaning of correct position of the eye? Let us see. Suppose this is the scale. These are the numbers given to you. Okay. Now, while taking the reading of particular object, your eye, it should be in contact with the point where the measurement is to be taken. That means, whenever you are taking the reading, your eyes should be in front in this contact. It should not be over this side. Your eyes should not be slant like this way on the left side or towards this side. So here and here. This is the correct position. It should be in front of that particular object while taking reading. So these are the different precautions while taking the measurement. Now we have seen how to measure the straight line with the help of a meter scale. But if there is a curve over here. So go on repeating till the point P is reached. Till then I will stretch the thread. Now stretch the thread along a meter scale. Now I will remove the thread. Here the marking is B and here there is a knot. So I will get the measurement of the curved line and I will use a meter scale. So whatever the scale measures, that will be the measurement of the curved line. This way we can take the measurement of the curved line with the help of a thread. Now we will see different types of motion. In previous I have told you what was the motion. Moving from one place to another. Different animals, different objects move from one place to another in different way. So the first one we will see is rectilinear motion, or we can see only linear motion. The motion in which an object moves along a straight line. If an object moves along a straight line, that means it does not turn anywhere. Along with its body, it moves along the straight line, and that type of motion is called rectilinear motion. For example, bullet fired from a gun. If you fire a bullet from a gun, it will go straight. So its motion will be a rectilinear motion. Then vehicles moving on a road. All the vehicles, car, bus, scooter, they are moving on a straight path or a straight line. So that is a rectilinear motion. Then sprinters running a race. Then march past of the soldiers. These are all types of rectilinear motion. Now let us see the second motion, that is curved motion. Now rectilinear was straight. Now what is the meaning of curve? The motion in which an object moves along a curve. So suppose if a person is going straight and if it takes a curve, then that type of motion will be said as a curved motion. For example, motion of an ant. Motion of an ant, it is not straight. It can take a curve anywhere. Motion of a butterfly. Butterfly takes a curve, or it can be said as a random motion. Okay? Suppose a rocket. If you fire a rocket, then rocket will go straight. Then it will take a turn. So that turn, that curve will be a curved motion. Or we can see a bike. A bike is moving straight. Then at some place it will take a curve. So that bike, that motorbike can be said as a curved motion. Now the third one is circular motion. The motion in which an object moves on a circular path. It moves around a circular path. That type of motion is known as a circular motion. The distance will remain the fixed. Example, blades of a moving fan. Motion of a child sitting on a merry-go-round. Motion of a bicycle wheel. Or motion of a sewing machine wheel. These are all the examples of a circular motion which moves along a circular path. Next, the fourth one is periodic motion. If an object repeats its motion after a definite interval of time, after a fixed time again it repeats its motion, then that type of an object is called, that type of a motion is known as a periodic motion. Example, motion of a pendulum, motion of the hands of a clock, then revolution of the earth around the sun, rotation of the earth which is on its own axis, branch of a tree moving to and fro, a child which is sitting on a swing, to and fro, that are all periodic motion. So we have seen different types of motion, that was rectilinear motion, curved motion, circular motion and periodic motion. Hope students you have understood all these topics.